I did not expect Infinity Castle to make me cry over Akaza. This is still the man who killed Rengoku. I went into this movie with plenty of reasons to dislike him, and somehow I walked out with Akaza as my phone wallpaper. So clearly something happened, because Infinity Castle didn't make me forget what Akaza did. It made me finally understand who was underneath him, Hakuji. And by the time that story was over, I was an absolute wreck. After Mugen Train, obviously I had great disdain for Akaza. He killed Rengoku. I spent that entire fight wanting Rengoku to beat him, but weirdly enough I never completely hated Akaza. Rengoku probably accounts for 30%, maybe even 20% of my negative feelings towards this man. Because outside of that, Akaza was cool. He had presence, and something about his obsession with strength always fascinated me, especially the way he practically begged Rengoku to become a demon, become stronger, and keep on living. Don't let your potential disappear. And I always wondered, why does this matter to you this much? Infinity Castle finally answered that. Hakuji wasn't born cruel. He was already getting into trouble and stealing when he was young, but so much of it became from desperation. His father was sick, and Hakuji was willing to go to extremes trying to get medicine and keep him alive. Then his father took his own life because he didn't want Hakuji continuing to destroy himself for him. And already you can see something that never really leaves Hakuji. When he loves somebody, he goes all the way. Then Keizo gives all of that anger and fighting ability somewhere meaningful to go. He becomes a mentor, almost another father figure. And then there's Koyuki. That was where I really started hurting, because suddenly we see how gentle Hakuji could actually be. He cared for her, he was patient with her, and eventually they had a future. They were engaged. Hakuji was going to inherit the dojo. For once, he might actually get a normal life. And I couldn't even enjoy it because I already knew who this man eventually became. I was sitting there thinking something is going to happen, and then Keizo and Koyuki are poisoned while Hakuji is away. His father was already gone, and now the second family he built was taken from him too. What Hakuji did after was horrific, and I'm not excusing it, but emotionally, that was the moment I understood that something inside him completely broke, and suddenly Akaza's obsession with strength looked completely different to me. Before knowing Hakuji, his philosophy sounds almost ridiculous. Strong people deserve respect, weak people are worthless. Keep fighting, become stronger. But Hakuji repeatedly experienced what it felt like to be unable to protect the people he loved. His father, Keizo, Kyoki, no matter how hard he fought, he still lost them. So now his hatred of weakness feels connected to that helplessness. That doesn't make his philosophy right, it makes it tragic, and even his fight with Rengoku hits differently now. I'm not saying Akaza consciously remembered his past while fighting him, he didn't, but now when I hear him desperately telling Rengoku to become a demon, part of me hears something else underneath it. You're strong. Why would you allow yourself to die? Do I forgive him for killing Rengoku? Absolutely not. Let's remain focused. But now I understand why strength became almost sacred to him. And then when we get to Tanjiro and Giyu, they push Akaza incredibly far. Tanjiro decapitates him, and normally that should be it, except Akaza basically says no. He starts regenerating and keeps fighting. And that makes perfect sense for someone whose entire existence has been built around refusing weakness. And then his memories start coming back. Hakuji starts coming back. Koyuki reaches him, and suddenly the question isn't, can I keep fighting? Because clearly he can. It becomes, what am I even fighting for anymore? That is why I still say Tanjiro and Giyu didn't completely finish Akaza themselves. Tanjiro decapitated him, but Akaza ultimately chose to stop regenerating and turned his power on himself rather than continuing. And honestly, I don't think that decision was weakness. It might have been the strongest decision he ever made. By the time Akaza started attacking himself and those memories fully returned, I was crying. And part of me felt guilty because, hello, this man killed Rengoku. I cried for you, I understand you, my heart hurts for you. But you still killed Rengoku. Let's not get carried away. And I think that's the balance I needed with Akaza. His backstory doesn't erase anything he did. He spent hundreds of years as a demon. He killed people, many people. Understanding Hakuji does not magically erase those lives, but it did humanize him. and somehow that made everything hurt more, because Hakuji never completely disappeared. His memories were buried, but the scars they created were still shaping Akaza. His love became obsession, his need to protect became an obsession with strength, his helplessness became a hatred of weakness, and he spent hundreds of years fighting without remembering what had made him want to become strong in the first place. That is devastating. Like I said, I still don't forgive Akaza for Rengoku, and his past doesn't erase anything he did as a demon. But after Infinity Castle, I don't think I can ever look at him as just a monster again either. Because now when I see Akaza, I see Hakuji too. And I think that's what made his ending hurt so badly. For the first time in hundreds of years, he finally remembered what he had actually been fighting for. And he realized he didn't need to fight anymore. So, Team Akaza. But until next time, stay safe and stay spirited.